Hey friends! Hey friends! Oh, let's check the her. Okay. Okay, it's been alright, first of all, let's do this. It's been a week now since I silk pressed my hair, and yes, I silk pressed my hair alone. And baby, it's still like stiff wear. Like what? Anyway, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Taylor. I am a full-time event producer working in New York City, and I produce content that's just on what it's like to be an event producer in New York City, what I love about it, and my experience, especially being a Black girl event planner. I work in a lot of nonprofit space, but also at some of New York City's top venues. And I just like to get on here to tell y'all more about my experience, but also things that could probably help you plan your events, because it's all relative, and I do some really fun stuff. So today's video, well, before we get into today's video, let's just give myself a shout out, because it's been 4 weeks and I've posted 4 videos, which is once a week, and God did that, because that is the most consistent I have ever been, ever. So let's take a clap, let's take a praise, because do a little praise dance, because yes, I'm doing it, y'all. We're staying consistent. I made the goal. If you watch my last video, I talked about my last video, the video before that, just like me setting myself up for success this year, and it's really working. So go back. I'll put the link underneath this video so you can click on it and watch it. But yes, period. Anyway, the point of this video is today to go over the question that I feel like so many moms, aunties, friends, everyone really does ask me when it comes to planning their wedding, or just a party or a vow renewal, something that's big. When it comes to, you're doing it big, like you're getting a venue, you're getting vendors, you're hiring a DJ, you're bringing in catering, like the whole nine. But this one specifically, I would say, is mostly for weddings, but can apply to other things. And the question is, should I hire an outside event planner if my venue has already provided me with one? And y'all, I laugh at this question, and I'm not going to laugh at this question, because there are a few circumstances where I think you might not need one. But if you ask me just flat out, my answer is going to be yes. Every time, yes. Yes, you need to hire an outside event planner. Yes, you need to get that extra person. Yes, you need a little backup of the day of your event. Yes. And like I said, there are very few circumstances where you might not be. And this is just based on my experience, what I would recommend. And it's just really just background information on why I think it could really be helpful for you. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I think would be helpful is just explaining the difference between a venue event planner and someone you hire from the outside as an event planner. So this is someone that is working in event management, does event management on the side, and you might be like, I want to hire them, or they do have a full-scale event business and you want to hire them. So here are my thoughts. Your venue manager or your venue event planner is, you found your venue, and there is a whole team that goes into planning an event. There's the production team, there's the catering, there's the entertainment, there is the co-check staff, there is check-in staff, there's everything. This venue planner is responsible for managing everything at the venue. So they're the person who is the expert at the venue that you are having your event at. They are someone that is provided to you by the venue, and it usually comes with any event that someone is planning at a venue. It would be very strange for your venue not to have an event manager in place, but most to all venues that have events, or even just restaurants, have like some sort of event manager that's around. On the other hand, you have your event planner is someone who you hire from the outside, or someone who has their own event company and works for an event company, and you want to use them to help you plan your event. Whether that's, still looking for venues, or, just coming up with the ideation, the process, whatever, that is your kind of outside event planner. They are an industry expert. They've worked at multiple venues. They've been in multiple spaces, and they are here to help you plan your event in this space, whatever one you have chosen. So that is the difference between the two. back to what I said, the first reason why I think you definitely need to hire an outside event planner is because this outside event planner is an expert in the field. They are not someone who just works solely at one venue. They've worked at multiple venues, they've been in multiple spaces, likely planning the same event that you're asking them to plan for somebody else, and they have seen it all. They've seen different things done in different spaces with different vendors. They have just like a more, not, I wouldn't say more of a creative vision, but they have more of a wide scope of things that could possibly be done in the space that you have decided to have your event in. Or if you haven't decided to have an event in the space yet and they are helping you vet those spaces, they're someone that can really bring the vision of what you liked and what you talked about to life in a space that you might not think is the best, or they can kind of help you see what that might look like in a space that you're deciding on. So they are that expert, but then also they are an expert on contract reading. They've seen what could be missing in a contract. They are really that person that, you know, has reviewed, looked over everything with contracting and working with production companies, and they're that person that can really help you vet those things. So most venues will require you to, or some venues sometimes require you to use vendors that they have at the venue already. So like you might have to use their production company or their floral company, or they'll give you a list of required vendors. This person from the outside is someone who can really review those contracts and be like, oh, well, I saw this done on another contract, so maybe we can get this in this one. So they are someone who is an expert in the field, and they kind of have all the knowledge that I wouldn't say not necessarily the venue manager has, but they just have more of a variety. And that can be very helpful when it comes to planning an event. My second reason is, with this person being so versed in all of these things and have seen multiple contracts and done all that stuff, they are gonna get you the best bang for your buck, baby, because I don't know if y'all notice these wedding prices and these venue prices. On top of inflation, it's giving real. Like, it's nuts, it's crazy. I have fully considered just getting married in somebody's backyard, and even that could be expensive, and maybe I'll do a video on that too. But it is too expensive for you not to really be getting all what you deserve with the money that you are spending. And an event manager from the outside is someone who can review and read all your contracts. If it's a vendor that the venue doesn't necessarily work with and you're hiring like a different DJ or someone to come do different lighting, like they can help you review those contracts for sure to get the best bang for your buck. And also, even with the venue, like when you're going to get a venue, you need to sign a contract with that venue. And this event planner can really vet that contract and get you what you need for the money that you are spending. For instance, let's say you're having an event and you have, I don't know, you sign a contract that you're gonna have 400 people at your wedding or 350 people at your wedding. Let's say 350 people at your wedding. And you realize that only 300 people are gonna be at your wedding. Maybe it's closer to whatever. Okay, so now you have paid for 50 plates that you now have to guarantee and you still have to pay for. So what can happen and what can work in that? Well, your event planner might bring it up, like your outside event planner might bring it up and say, all right, well, we have all this money that we're not using. What can we do to get the best bang for your buck? Like, we have to use it. So how can we use it? Can we elevate the dinner menu? Can we add in like a dessert reception, which I think is also something that are lacking from weddings? Could we do like a champagne toast reception or something that we can, just use the money that we're not really utilizing and put it towards something? Your venue manager might bring it up, but they might not be as creative with it based on just what they've seen in the space. But I think your event planner will definitely bring it up as like, oh, this is missing from your contract, or, we have money that we could spend. How can we spend it here? So it's just, for something that is as big as this and as much money as you're spending on something like this, you need someone who's really going to look out for you, be that advocate. The third reason is, your venue manager and your event manager who you've hired, they speak the same language. Like, they know production, they know catering, they know what's needed, when's needed, what needs to be reviewed. If you could do like a tasting for your wedding, what that might look like. And also, event planners who are really, really good know what to pair with, what wines to pair with what food. Like, listen, we do it all, we know it all. You should hire us, just saying. But they speak the same language. So you've hired someone now who can kind of do the translating for you. And this person, like I said, is someone you've hired, you've vetted, you trust them, you are working with them to plan your event. if you have a vision, they can go to the venue and be like, this is the vision, this is what we're trying to do, how can we make this possible? They work with the venue manager to kind of make that possible. But there are a lot of things that are hard to understand within, like, especially production in AV. If you're trying to do like a big wedding, like, what do you necessarily need? And I speak the language now. I don't speak the language, I kind of understand it. It's like me speaking Spanish. I cannot speak Spanish, but I can understand some of it. So when I say some of it, I mean some of it. But it's the same thing. Like, if you're going to another country and you don't speak the language, it's going to be hard. And you might, sometimes you don't get the best deals when you're buying something in a store because they know you're from America and they'll, charge you up, run you up, as they should. But if you have someone who's with you who is a translator and understands what's going on, you kind of have that in-between person who can really advocate for you while also pushing for what you want. So that is where your outside event manager falls. That is the person that you need to kind of advocate on both sides, play the field. But yeah, having someone that speaks the language is definitely helpful because event world is very different and it's not as simple as people might think it is. It's not just flowers and food. It's AV boards, it's sound, it's microphones, it's lav mics, it's everything. There's a bunch of also digital things now that we can do to kind of elevate your space, whether it's an event or like a promotion party or whatever. There are so many things now that you can do that it's definitely helpful to have someone that speaks the language. And then this goes back to kind of like, so we talked a little bit more about budget. A lot of people complain, or their excuse for not hiring an outside event planner is that, we don't have it in the budget, the venue's providing us with one, we'll just do it on our own. Okay, you can do that. But let me tell you, when you are at your wedding day and the napkins are not the napkins that you requested, or the DJ is late because you didn't really read the contracted time correctly, or the catering is not what you expected because something in your contract is not verse or language and something that you really understand, like, that is because you didn't have someone that could really vet for you because you don't speak the language. And I highly recommend that you at least have someone who reviews your contracts. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about the types of event planners you can hire, but get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Because the worst thing is on your wedding day and you notice that something's off and not what you expected, not in your contract, like, your venue manager likely will be there to help you, but they're also running around and making sure that everything else is done on the scheduled time. So it's kind of hard for them unless they have someone else with them, which could be provided to you by the venue as well. But at least this is someone that you can text and be like, hey, I just noticed this. Can you work on that? Yes, you are paying them to solve the problems. Event managers are quick problem solvers because why? Like I said in my other video, things never happen how you want it to. There is always something that's going to go wrong. And we kind of just go into it expecting that at this point. So we know how to pick up and move really fast. It's just not going to happen. So get somebody else to do it because it's your special day and no bride or no groom should be over here trying to figure out why this wasn't done here, why this wasn't done here, why the cake, where's the cake that I ordered, all that good stuff. You need someone who's really going to help you with that. So it might be helpful for you guys to understand a little bit more about what types of event managers you can help plan your events, whether it's a wedding, a launch party, a dinner party that might be super, super upscale or whatever it is. So you can have a full-scale event planner that you hire from the outside, someone who really helps you find the venue, or once you've already found it, they can kind of get looped in. They can help you review your contracts. They can help you do all the works. And this person really helps you with the ideation of your event. They see everything from start to finish. They can make a lot of recommendations for you in terms of, what florals to pick versus what centerpieces to pick. Maybe it's not florals, maybe it's another design or something that's not as static or whatever. Maybe it's digital, maybe it's something that's a little different for your wedding, or your event. So this person is really helping you navigate the event space with your venue or whatever. But this person is always already up. They are going to be with you from the start to the end. So there's a crucial part to this also, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month before your wedding. It's like crucial crunch time, planning time. That's when all certain things are due. Depends on the venue, but a month to 2 months before. Your menu's due, your final numbers are due, your run of show is due. So what's happening that night? Your I don't know, your load-in schedule. So what vendors need to be there? Your COIs are due. There are just so many things that are due, and event planner can definitely help you because they are expecting those things to be due, and they can really help navigate that process and do the work for you so you don't have to do it. Like, pay them to do it, get somebody else to do it. Yeah. And then on the day of, they are there early managing the event with your day of event coordinator. Like, it's important. I've also been a day of event coordinator that was hired from the outside to help with weddings, and usually it's like I've been called in maybe 3 weeks or a month before, and someone's like, hey, my wedding's on this day. I do have a good relationship with the venue, but we just want to make sure that we have somebody that's, in making sure that they're doing what they need to do. Or they might not have a good relationship with the venue and they're like, oh, we need somebody, like, this is not okay, we don't trust them. And I wouldn't say that's the circumstance with most venues. Most venues are pretty good at providing you someone that you can work with. But back to what I said in the beginning, this is not someone that you hired. It was someone that was provided to you. So they just might not speak your language and like understand what you're trying to convey, and that's okay. But I have a few people who have reached out to me like 2 to 3 weeks before their wedding, and they're like, holy shit, we're nervous, can you help? And of course I'm always gonna help because I like it. But if you come to me 3 weeks in advance and you're like, I need you to plan my wedding, I probably won't do it. And that's because I will not be responsible for the disaster because you waited until this point to get it done. So for those who are calling 2 to 3 weeks before and you've done everything and you just need somebody to tie up some loose ends, I got you, baby. But don't expect your event planner to come in 3 weeks before your wedding. Your wedding's for 300 people and they're like, we need it. And I'm not saying it can't be done, because I'm a fully confident person that I can do anything with just like 2 to 3 weeks of time, like whatever. But it's also just might not be something that I would want to take on, or your event manager that you're hiring from the outside would take on. If I was them, I wouldn't, because you want to be, it's your work. You want to make sure that it goes well, but you also don't want the work of others who have been doing it poorly for the last 8 months of planning to fall on you. So but your day of event manager might come in 2 to 3 weeks before. They'll have a meeting with you to discuss what you would like to, what needs to be tied up, where are things at. They'll meet with the venue to talk through, just so you can be their point of contact moving forward, so that you can take a backdrop. You're getting ready for your wedding. You don't want to think about all that stuff. So kind of just transfer all that information over to that day of event planner that you've hired, so that they can execute with the venue the day of and the whole evening. So those are the types of event planners you can hire. Full scale obviously going to cost you more. The shorter scale ones that are just like 2 to 3 weeks before and day of definitely going to cost much less. But I do think it's good to have. And lastly, like, this is your day. Whatever event this is your day. Like, you don't want anything to go wrong. Although something, like I said, will always go wrong. But for a lot of your guests, they will never know that anything goes wrong, as long as you have a good team behind you planning the event. And you want it to go off how you wanted it to go off. So I highly recommend, yes, hire that event planner from the outside. And like I said before, there are very few circumstances where you might not need this person. I would say this is with like New York City, I would say for New York City particularly, like if you are paying buku amount of money to have your event at a wedding space, they usually have everything that you need. They usually have the top of the line event planner. They'll schedule your floral meetings. They'll schedule all the meetings for review, your tasting, whatever. But I'm talking like top of the line. But I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these top of the line venues that I've worked at still call us in to be that in between person, because we speak the language unlike the client, and that's okay. So it is worth it to have us anyway, because we can make the process more seamless and less painful for you. Like, who wants to be planning a wedding, I don't know, getting married, having to deal with the stress of maybe moving, life is changing, and working? It's just too much. So get somebody else to do it. Have your event planner do it. It is fully worth it. And this is just my experience and what I think. I might get some hate comments on this from the venue event managers, but it's fine. I'm telling you, I think it is definitely needed. So thanks for watching, and I hope you take my advice. Send this to a friend. Send this to anyone who's getting married. I'm 28 now, and all my friends are getting married, so I'm going to a wedding like every other month. And this is the time, baby. Like, this is the time that people are making these decisions. Like, if they're contemplating or you're not sure and people are not sure if they should invest the money, I say go ahead and send this video to them. Do it, do it, do it. It is 1,000% worth it. Thanks for watching. Bye.